really well bred. Probably want to get a couple yourself, get amongst it. You alright, Chase? Time? What am I walking for? So just that cast was just a smidge short, so it cost a point. It's a bit like the discussion we had around the pen. It wasn't a great position. Does this work? Take that off there. Stick that on there. Take the timer out of my pocket. So you can see this is taking a little bit of time, which is fine. So the dog's met the sheep in a nice way. Hasn't hurried them up. Just under Tracey's control there. Just started to come in on the sheep quietly and say hello rather than jumping in and saying, "Surprise, I'm here." And often that hard introduction, you'll pay the price for it for at least half your course until things settle down. So everything's out of my pocket. Oh no, I got here about 2 o'clock-ish or so yesterday, and it's still somewhat breezy. Like, you need your jumper. I put my beanie on. So now the sheep are delivered. You know, you can take your time at this point to get them in a nice position for you to start to walk off on your course.
9 minutes left.
So right now it's a perfect position. The person, sheep, dog on that other diagonal corner. So this is what we call a carry, and ideally that's how you want to take your sheep up the course, is carry them along. So clearly this dog is outstanding. So I'm sure Tracey will charge a fair price for her pups if she breeds from her. You know, so to be real critical now, and I've watched some of Tracey's videos also, what I would like to see Tracey practice is actually walking a bit faster on the course. So that'll give you time then when you get to a winding peg, if you need to unwind, or get to your obstacle and you're having a bit of a hard time, you've got time up your sleeve. Where if you start to walk real slow right from the start, sometimes it's hard to move the sheep because they're not taking any notice. The dog doesn't seem to have any authority over them, so they'll just plant their feet. You have to keep walking, you walk away from the sheep, plus you're taking so long to do it. And sometimes as well, you know, if you're running out of time, just talking about walking fast, is that you might be at the bridge and you got your timer on and you know that you don't have much time. You need to walk quickly to the pen, practice those things. So when you're training your dogs, just general sort of stuff, practice the what if I run out of time, or what if the sheep end up on the wrong side of me while I'm practicing a carry, how are you going to deal with that? And so sometimes then you have to practice not stopping while you correct the situation. We want to fix something when we're training the dogs, but we're not allowed to stop when we're walking between points on the course. So sometimes you have to practice fixing things while you're moving, and so that, yeah, it's something. I was talking about just the sheep being left behind, so it's cost a point or two.
6 minutes left.
I didn't take one for that. So the way this dog's running now, the pups are in the back of my trailer. They're the same mating again, so every 8 metres they go up $100. Yeah, if you want. So sheep are in a pretty good position there in relation to the obstacle. Just that first one needs to turn because it's sort of facing across the obstacle. So it's interesting, well, two have picked their head up again, well, now they've all stopped eating, but sometimes a quiet dog like this, you think, oh, everything's quiet, but see that little jump of the sheep then? The dog hasn't done that to them yet. It worked out well, but sometimes that's enough to take them past the obstacle, and then you got to repair that. So what point I was going to say about those sheep feeding is sometimes those quieter dogs, the sheep go, oh, well, I'm happy with the dog, I'll have a feed. Then the dog comes into the picture of the sheep, and it's like the sheep haven't seen the dog all course yet, and they sort of take a little bit of a fright. So sometimes keeping your dog moving, you might move it side to side a little bit, just so it sort of reminds the sheep that the dog's still there as well.
4 minutes left.
So I don't know if you have a timer down at the table, but 4 minutes left. So very achievable, isn't it, from this point, from the bridge walking to up that hill to the pen. But they're in a pretty good spot, so if they come off this bridge and Lace doesn't have to fight them too much to get off, Tracey, it'll show up to this point certainly Tracey's used the time well. But I still back what I said, practice walking faster.
3 minutes left.
So this is a bit tight here. I would have preferred to send the dog outside the obstacle. Now she's going to have to zip outside a bit because they're going to walk off course in a sec. And so now that's cost another point, and that wasn't necessary. Now Lace is sitting on that outside. Tracey stopped her so they came back in, but the risk was that the dog could have just gone, well, I'll carry him from here and take him up the hill for you, which would have been off course. See that little trot? The dog ran fast. She hasn't really done that yet, and the sheep went, oh, I don't know about that, but it repaired fairly well. They're those little 1%ers you have to keep your eye on and be aware that what's happened to the sheep all the way around. They haven't been pressured too much. So, particularly now, you don't want to bomb it, of course, because you're right at the pen. So my personal preference for shutting a gate is go and shut the damn thing. I wouldn't be moving the dog around. I'd just go for the gate, and Tracey is now killing me. Just go for it. Alright, so that was great. Good on you, Tracey. So it's a 92.